Do you have troubles understanding fast-spoken German? This is a very common issue with language learning. You learn it one way in classes, but when you try to understand people in the real world, they sound completely different. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 6 common words and phrases where sounds are chopped off or letters are mushed together when German native speakers speak in real-life conversations. So hopefully this is going to help you decode fast-spoken German. Also, I have a free lesson linked in the description box below where I go through exactly this topic. We'll look at daily life dialogues, but you'll also learn about German pronunciation and much more. So highly recommend signing up for my free lesson as well if you are a total beginner in German. And if you're new here, hallo und herzlich willkommen bei Speak Fluent German. Ich heiße Salome und ich bin Deutschlehrerin für Deutsch als Fremdsprache. My name is Salome and I'm a certified German teacher for German as a foreign language, and this channel is all about helping you become confident and conversational in German. Also follow me on Instagram at speakfluentgerman, where I post daily useful phrases in German, fun quizzes and more to help you master the German language. Okay, lasst uns anfangen. Let's get started. So the first thing that German native speakers do a lot when we speak fast is not pronouncing the E in the conjugated verb for the first person singular. What? So conjugating basically means changing the verb according to the person and the tense of a sentence. In the present tense, verbs normally get the ending E for the first person singular, which is I. So for example, for the verb to have, haben, it would be ich habe, I have. But in fast-spoken German, we don't pronounce the E. We don't say ich habe. You will oftentimes hear people say ich hab, ich hab. So for example, ich habe keine Zeit, I don't have time, becomes ich hab keine Zeit. Ich hab keine Zeit. Or ich habe keine Lust, I don't feel like it, becomes ich hab keine Lust. The same phenomenon also happens for the first person plural, where wir haben becomes wir haben. Wir haben. Wir haben keine Zeit. Wir haben keine Lust. Alright, the next common word that becomes one letter is the word S. We oftentimes simply pronounce it as S. S. Like for example, wie geht es or wie geht es dir just simply becomes wie geht's. Wie geht's? Which means how are you? Or for example, in Berlin gibt es ein Kino. There is a cinema in Berlin. In fast-spoken German, gibt es will simply melt together into gibt's. Gibt's. In Berlin gibt's ein Kino. Or to be more accurate, actually, we would say in Berlin gibt's ein Kino. In Berlin gibt's ein Kino. Which leads me to my next point, that the beginning of the indefinite articles are very often chopped off as well. So the indefinite articles are, for example, ein, eine, einen, einem, depending on the case, and very often the I in the beginning is just simply not pronounced. So for ein, we would just simply say n, or eine becomes ne, einen becomes nen, einem becomes nem. Zum Beispiel, for example, ich brauche eine Fahrkarte. I need a train ticket would simply become ich brauch ne Fahrkarte. Ich brauch ne Fahrkarte. Or another example, meine Nachbarn haben einen Hund. My neighbors have a dog would become meine Nachbarn haben nen Hund. Meine Nachbarn haben nen Hund. So haben becomes ham and einen becomes nen. Meine Nachbarn haben nen Hund. Another thing that happens really often is that the E in the last syllable of a word isn't pronounced either. For example, unsere means our, oftentimes becomes unsere. Unsere. So, unsere Deutschlehrerin ist sehr nett, our German teacher is very nice, becomes Unsere Deutschlehrerin ist sehr nett. Unsere Deutschlehrerin. Unsere Deutschlehrerin. And ist sehr technically also is mushed together. So we don't say ist sehr, we say ist sehr. Ist sehr. Unsere Deutschlehrerin ist sehr nett. Alright, the next word group that I want to take a look at with you are adjectives with en. Oftentimes the e gets dropped here as well. So Deutschen, for example, becomes Deutschen. Deutschen. Maria hat einen deutschen Freund. Maria has a German boyfriend becomes Maria hat einen deutschen Freund. Maria hat einen deutschen Freund. So einen becomes nen and Deutschen becomes Deutschen. Maria hat einen deutschen Freund. Another common letter combination that is pronounced differently from its written form is the silent R. So very often ER is pronounced ja. Ja. Like in the word hier. We don't say hier, we say hier. 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 Ich bin hier. Ich bin hier. Alright? Or for example in the word Bier in German. Bier. Bier. Ich hätte gern ein Bier becomes ich hätte gern ein Bier. Ich hätte gern ein Bier. So hätte becomes het, ein becomes n, and Bier with an R at the end is simply pronounced Bier. Bier. Ich hätte gern ein Bier. And lastly, we oftentimes also don't pronounce the L or pronounce it as a very light L at the end of words. For example, in the phrase, kommst du mal bitte? Can you please come? We would say, kommst du mal bitte? Kommst du mal bitte? Also note that the word mal here has no direct translation, but it can actually soften the command or make it sound slightly more polite. Alright, that's it for today. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my weekly lessons. Das ist alles für heute. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss!